Hello everyone. Today is 9th of June. It's the second Friday of this month. And of course, Friday is always one of the happiest day within the week. It's the last day that we need to spend 8 hours in the office, and it's the last day before we can enjoy our weekend together with families and friends. And it's the last day that we need to spend time with our colleague before we can do what we really want to do, but we don't have time to do during normal weekdays. And today I want to talk about something related to agriculture, especially uh, one of the biggest problems in South Asia agriculture. uh, Early this morning, I heard a BBC podcast about the high suicide rate of farmers in India, and it was not the first time I listened to a podcast like this. I still remember a few years ago, I listened to a podcast with almost similar content. And today, mm, the, the podcast really surprised me because the problem have not yet been solved, and the suicide rate is increasingly higher and higher now. And obviously, within this few years, the situations is deteriorating, and I'm not sure whether uh, any people or any organizations are trying to solve this problem. But uh, from what I heard from the podcast, the situation is not getting better, at least from the podcast. Okay. The high suicide rate of farmer in India, I think uh, is something really special because we seldom hear about high suicide rate of farmers in other country. But a lot of articles about Indian farmers are published because of this. And when we first heard about this, the only thing that we are really interested to know is what caused this. And based on the podcast, actually the high suicide rate is very related with the indebtedness. Many of the farmers actually they borrow money from money lender to spend on seed, pesticide, and try to increase the productivity of their lands, but they cannot get the yield as expected, and they cannot pay back the rent, and in the end, they were forced to sell the land or give the land to the money lender to clear their debt. And many of them actually don't want to sell their land, and nothing they can do to solve their problems. And this kinds of problem uh, was haunting them for very long periods of time, and in the end they got no choice but commit suicide. It's a really sad story, but it happens every day in India. In some part of India, it can be like 10 cases per day. Farmer committing suicide is is normal there, but how we going to uh, solve this? Before that, we need to know why this thing happened. And this high suicide rate show that the agriculture industry actually is very negative. It used to be very positive in the old age, where people can feed their family based on what they plant, what they harvest from their land. And nowadays, this negative economy in agriculture, largely due to two factors. First, the rising cost of productions. Higher and higher cost is needed in production. Money's fund, financial support is needed for seed, for pesticide, and some other things. And the second factor is the falling price of farm commodity. And because of that, high cost and low high cost and low price, the profit margin are become lesser and lesser, and farmers are very difficult to survive because we in the food chain, not only farmer, between farmer and market there are still many level that the product will go through. For example, the wholesaler, the big companies, the supermarket. So the only very little money eventually go into the pocket of farmers. This is one of the important things. But also the the trade policy liberalizations and corporate globalizations are some of the factors. In 1998, when India started to follow the World Bank policy, India was forced to open up its sixth sector suddenly, and the big corporate from the west, for example, Cahill and Monsanto, changed the industry overnight. Farm safe seed, which were used widely for so many years to for new plantation season, are replaced with corporate seeds, which claim to be more uh, pest resistant and year higher productions. And farmer cannot longer use farm safe seed, which is a small portions of their harvest of last season, which cost them almost nothing to start their new uh, seasons of plantations. But instead, they need to pay almost 5 times higher price to get the corporate seeds from those big uh, seed company, and all these seed uh, required more pesticide and more water, which indirectly need more irrigations to yield higher productions. And because of the patented seed, and also with all the engineering on the seed are almost uh, with non-renewable trails, mean after one season the sticks cannot be kept and used again the next season, but new seeds must be purchased for the company from the seed companies. So indirectly, the big company start to monopoly the seed industry, and farmer need to pay many times of need to pay lots of money just to get the seed and start to plant something. And this vicious circle keep on repeating and many farmers borrow a lot of money from the money lender and even use their land as deposit to get some money, and then use the money to buy the promising seed. Hopefully they can make a fortune from the seed, and then after that something turn out after investing so much money, but they get very little in return, and they lose a lot of money, and they need to borrow more money from the money lender to pay their debt. And the same thing happen over and over again, and and in the end the farmer cannot afford to get more money or to pay the debt, and very limited option for them anymore to save their land. So most of them choose to commit suicide so that they don't bring the problems to the family or to other peoples in the village. It was a really sad story, but this happened every day, especially in those areas where GM modified seeds are widely used. So it's not it's very ironic that GM modified seeds with aims to help human to increase the productivity of and affordability of food kill the poor farmers. And this is what we want to emphasize here. Why these things happen? And also the falling price of farm commodity in the world market indirectly make the small farmer to sell their product at lower price. They were forced to sell the product at lower price so that, and they have no choice. Many developed countries give a very high subsidy to farm commodity, and all these cheap commodity actually force the poor peasants from underdeveloped country to compete with them, and most of them fear because the subsidy, they don't have subsidy, and they cannot cannot compete with the developed country. So the farm commodity of the developed country start to monopoly the market share of the agriculture product. Actually, it's not exaggerating to say that we GM modify six well-developed country will eventually control the agricultural sectors of underdeveloping countries because of the technology that they have. The use of GM modified seeds actually brings some adverse impact to the land. Because of the seed, more people are trying to get higher production rate by using the GM modified seed widely, and this cause monoculture in agriculture. Biodiversity is decreasing. People stop planting the same things on their land, and many neighbors do the same. So we see less biodiversity. Lacking of biodiversity is not a good thing because it can bring crop failure. If there is a disaster, the disaster can be enormous because because it's monoculture. And in one part of India, because the genetic modified cotton is planted so wisely, and the low yield of the cotton actually bring really bad impact to the area, and the area actually is the area with the highest suicide rate among farmers in India. So GM modified product actually bring something cause something really bad in underdeveloped country. And other than this, today I want to share here um, another story which is very much related to agriculture. Mm, in a for a country with very limited farmland, how the country is going to provide more vegetables and perhaps food to its citizens. And it's not a good idea, it's not a new idea, and it may have been, and some people may have been doing it for so many years now. It's something called vertical farming. Vertical farming is the method of farming which significantly reduce the usage of land in agriculture with advanced technology in place. LED light, uh, automated system help the vertical farming becomes one of the most productive way of producing green vegetable uh, in a country with very little with with not so much farming lands. The vertical farm can be located anywhere. It can be in a factory or in a building with a multi-story a building with a multi-story store or office, and with proper remote controls and LED light and fully automated system. um, a small vertical farm actually can produce many types of vegetables, tomatoes, and fruits with proper temperature control. Actually, anyone can be a farmer in the midst of concrete buildings. So, producing food is not something very difficult with the advance of technology. So, actually, the local government do take some measures to encourage this kinds of industry because it helped to reduce the import of green vegetable from a neighboring country, and also it helped to provide fresh food to the citizens because it's nearer the distance from farm to market. Even the labor cost here is quite high, and it unavoidably increase the cost of productions, but taking other factors in consideration, for example the subsidy from the government, uh, the shorter distance of uh, transportations, which would try to the fully automated process which indirectly cut down the manpower cost. All this actually make the local produce vegetable not so much expensive in comparison to the import. And even the government take a step further by encouraging uh, the citizens to consume the local produce vegetable in order to support the local farming industry. So actually we can foresee more and more vertical farming in this country for the next few years, and the local supply of green vegetable is expected to increase and to have more market share and to produce more varieties of food locally. Is a move of the government to cut down the dependence on other country on food related import, and this is one of the way we can do it. And today I share something about agriculture, and hopefully uh, you like the podcast. Thank you so much.